Hello everyone and welcome to New Tech Tuesday Tutorials. I am your host Richard Evans. Thank you for watching and make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe. Today I'd like to show you how to use Live Story Creator with macros. Now Live Story Creator is a feature within some TriCasters that allow you to bring in a script, use it as a teleprompter, and let it run your show for you. A super powerful feature that can also be enhanced with the use of macros. So, let me show you how it's done, son! Alright, so here we are in the TriCaster 2 Elite interface, and in my automation tab here at the bottom, I have my script from Live Story Creator just thrown in here with just some generic dialogue. Now, one thing I want to mention is if you haven't played around with Live Story Creator too much, I highly recommend checking out some of the videos that I have on our YouTube page to see some of the details of it. I'm just going to be going over just some of the macros for this, so if you want to get some more information about Live Story Creator, I highly recommend checking out those videos. Okay, so what I want to do today is let's just go over some of the basic things that we can do with macros in Live Story Creator. So with macros, we'll need to go to the top of the screen and click on Macros, go to Configure Macros, and I'm going to stay within my Session Macros folder here, and let's just create a new macro, and I'm just going to call it New Macro, and want to show you some of the different things that we can record in here. Okay, so let me go ahead and click on Edit so we can see everything, and I'm going to hit Record here. So now the TriCaster is listening for commands for me to click on and then record it as an action, as a macro. So let's go through those. So just the basic playback ones. If I hit play here, you'll see, there we go, there's my first one, live story underscore play will start your script. And then also you can click stop, and that will stop your script. But I do want to mention, if you look here, if you hit just stop, it will just kind of really just pause it, like stop it where it is. If you want to reset it all the way to the beginning, you would click stop again, so do a double stop, and that'll take you back to the very beginning of your script. And then you can also move forward to a different segment. So if I click that, you'll see that says live story underscore next underscore segment. And if I want to go to the previous segment and go backwards here, and it'll say live story underscore previous underscore segment. Okay, now some of the other things that you can automate within here is you can say clear your script out completely. So I'll just hit X here and get rid of it. So you'll see that that will unload the script. And then if I click within here and click plus, I can then navigate to the script that I was using, and I can then load that script. So we'll wait for a second for that to load, and boom. So there we go. So that's something that you can do. I'll go ahead and stop recording here. So these are just some of the different shortcuts you can do in here for assigning different macros. All right, so this will allow you can have within your script an option to where you can just reload another script, especially if you have a really long show but you still want to use a teleprompter. You can set up a macro to where you can start to load in different scripts, so you're not just having one giant Word document, you know what I mean? Okay, so let's go ahead and I'm going to close that one out. Now, one of the big reasons I wanted to show you this is because of the speed controls within Live Story Creator. So for example, let me just hit play right now. So we're reading this off. Hello everyone, welcome to your local news at 9 p.m. I am Dale. Okay, now I read that pretty fast because I'm kind of a motor mouth, but you might have another speaker within that's using the same script that might be speaking at a completely different speed. So to alter the speed of Live Story Creator, we do have this T-bar here that will allow you to ramp it up a little bit faster or slower, okay? Or even backwards if you want to do, okay? So, but what I wanted to show you here, I mean, since you have like multiple speakers, somebody could be speaking really fast, or somebody could be speaking slow. So you want to be able to have full control over that, like while you're in the middle of your show, okay? Now, I know that you can automate this into your script. I'm just going to show you how to do it by hand right now, because right now if you're running your show and having to move this back and forth, well, that's kind of taking your attention away from actually running your show as far as a TriCaster operator is concerned. So let's take a look at how to control that. So I'm going to make a new macro here, and I'm going to call that Dale's speech, since he is our first speaker here. And then we click Edit, and I'm going to click Record. So we want this macro to both play and alter the speed. So I already hit play, and now let's go ahead and ramp up that speed just a little bit by using the T-bar here. And check this out. When I do that, whoa, it recorded a whole bunch of different actions here because it recorded the slide that I did within Live Story Creator. But we don't need to have all of these instructions in here to ramp up to that particular speed. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete all of these except for the first one. And let's take a look. So that shortcut is live story underscore teleprompter underscore speed, and then a value that you can assign to your different speakers. Okay. Now I typically, my speech pattern is about there, so about 0.31. I'll just go ahead and put that in there like that, and I'll get rid of that delay because we just want this particular macro to play out the script and then start at a different speed. Okay, and now what I want to do is I'm going to make another one for our second speaker, which is Laura here in my script, who, let's say, speaks a little bit slower. Okay, so I'll say make a new macro and we'll call that Laura speech. And I'll go into edit and let's do the same thing. I'll hit record. We want that macro to play just in case I hit stop or something like that. And then let's just move it a little bit. All right, I'll stop my recording of my macro here. And let's go ahead and get rid of these lines. We don't need that. And we'll get rid of that delay. Okay. And then so same thing here, live story underscore teleprompter underscore speed. But let's make that to a different speed here, just a little bit slower, so 0.25. Because again, you can make that lightning fast, but a normal speech pattern is going to be between, I would say, 0.25 and 0.32 or something, just depending on how big the text is on screen, etc. So you kind of have to play around with it depending on your speakers, okay? So let's go ahead and I'm going to just hit double stop, go back to the beginning here. And let's go ahead and start our script. So Dale's going to start it first. So just keep an eye on the speed in which my script is running here. So this will be echoed back on whatever teleprompter device I'm using. So let's go ahead and say, all right, Dale's speech. Cool. Read that off. Hello, everyone. Welcome to your local news, blah, blah, blah. And then we're getting to Laura's. So let's go ahead and play Laura's when we get to her name. Right? And then as you see, that will slow down so that Laura can take her time with speaking in her normal speech pattern and not in the motor mouth one that mine is. Okay, so that's very important, and then you can just kind of cycle back and forth between those if you need to, so we can speed it up a little bit. All right, slow it down, up to you. Okay, so now I'm showing you all of this using just the macros within the system, but again, this is Live Story Creator, so we can automate this into the script itself. So basically what we can do is once we have these macros loaded onto the TriCaster, I can then modify my script to then play those macros back just whenever it gets to these particular names. So I don't have to really even do anything. I don't have to hit any macros, I'll just let the script do it for me. Alright, so to do that, let me move over to my computer and open up that Word document and start to add in these macros. Alright, so here we are on my PC and in my Word document, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to automate those speed changes within Live Story Creator directly from my script. So to do that, how I'm going to do it is I'm going to select the name Dale here, and I'll go up to comments, and then I'll go ahead and add a comment here, and I'm going to say run Dale speech. Okay, so I'll go ahead and add that there. Boop. Okay, and then let's go to Laura and we'll do the same thing, add a new one here, and I'm going to say run Laura speech. All right, so what this is allowing me to do is now within my Word document, when I get to those particular words, it's going to see these commands and then just start to alter them as I need to. All right, and we'll go the same thing down here. That and then run Dale speech. Okay, cool. All right, and then from here, let's go ahead and I'm just going to save this document. So I'll just go ahead and save this document. Control S. All right, and now let's move back over to the TriCaster and import in this script and show you how that's done. All right, so now I am back in the TriCaster to Elite interface, and then you'll notice here on my automation tab that I have this logo, which allows me to reload my script because I have saved it over on my other computer so I can bring in those comments. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. All right, and now you'll see that Dale here is in blue because I have a comment there, and you can see it says run Dale speech. All right, now you do have to make sure that you have these commands on, like comments and comments for this example. And let's go ahead and click close here. And now let's go ahead and I'm just going to hit play on my script. And after I do that, then the speed will change as we go along. So again, just keep your eye on the speed in which the script goes by. Let's hit play. So it'll go here and then move it a little bit faster. And then we'll get to Laura. And it will slow down like that. Cool. Sweet. So a good way so you can have the macros within your script start to trigger the speed in which these start to play out as. Now again, you can also use different macros in here to alter playback, move between different segments, or you can tell a live story creator to load in another script. So it's really up to you how you want to do this. I'm just kind of giving you an overview of these different macros that you can manipulate live story creator with. Highly recommend checking it out, playing around with it, and of course, as usual, have some fun. As you can see, adding a few macros into the world of Live Story Creator can help you out big time. So, like this tutorial? Want more tutorials? Then subscribe to the NewTek YouTube channel at youtube.com/NewTekInc. And for formal NewTek product training, check out NewTek University at newtek.com/newtek-u. For more information about NewTek product services, you can contact your local reseller or visit newtek.com, or you can get yourself a free online NewTek product demonstration by signing up at newtek.com/demo. And as always, if you're posting your work with NewTek gear on social media, make sure that you tag us using the hashtags NewTek, TriCaster, or 3Play. Thank you again for watching. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you again soon for another episode of NewTek Tuesday Tutorials.